Do you feel like you are always moving, but never actually getting anywhere? I'm Spencer Johnson. Welcome to blog number 4 of the Haven blog, where we talk about online advertising, getting your message clarified, and getting in front of a new audience so that you can survive and thrive in 2021. I want to talk about this quote that I heard in the book Essentialism. Phenomenal quote. Always moving, but never getting anywhere. I can't even tell you how much that resonated me when I heard that. It has been a constant struggle, honestly, for years, where I feel like I'm jumping from one thing to the next thing to the next thing to the next thing. And at the end of the day, it's like, well, what do I have to show for this? Luckily, I clarified all of that at the beginning of this year. That's why the Haven Agency exists as it does today. But I want to talk about why you might be feeling like you are always moving but never getting anywhere. I've boiled it down to 3 possible reasons. Number 1, you're unqualified. That's okay. There are experts in their fields for a reason, and those experts are the ones who survive, thrive, and outshine all of the competition that's left in the city, in the state, in the country, in the world. That's why companies are successful, is because they are focused on what they are qualified to do. That might be you trying to do too much for your company, trying to handle the advertising and the messaging side of it as well. It's okay to admit that you're unqualified to do that. If you're a lawyer, be a lawyer. Don't be a marketer or an advertiser. That's okay. Admit it. We're not lawyers. There's a reason, right? So number 2, you might be stretched too thin. This is what I was dealing with for years. Is I tried to do every single thing that came across my plate. It was, well, this has to be done, therefore I'm going to do it. I'm going to be involved, whatever that may be. It's a difficult conversation to have, because you've got to have it internally, and then you've got to have it externally, and then you've got to find a solution. If you're stretched too thin, adding something like advertising and data reading to your plate is not the best use of your time. This is another major point that comes out of the book Essentialism. I love it. I think that it's a great book. I'll give you a link below. But admit I'm stretched too thin. This cannot be one other thing that I put on my plate, because the reality is that if you have too much on your plate and you are stretched too thin, nothing that you do is going to be 100% of what it should be, of what you could make it be. So acknowledge that. Number 3, it could be that you're just not clear. You're not sure of the direction, the message, the copy that you're supposed to be using, the funnel, how it all connects. That's okay too. Clarity gives you energy to continue moving forward. And if you don't have the clarity, then what it often feels like is that you revert back to number 2, where you're stretched too thin, because you're trying to do a little bit of every single thing that comes across your plate, that comes across as a good idea. It's like, oh, I've got to do this now, right? But if you clarify it all down into a simple message that is consistent on your social media, in your print collateral, on your website, in your emails, in your internal and external communications, then suddenly it's like, oh, okay, I actually can do this. I can move the needle. I can move the business forward. I can survive and thrive in 2021. Guys, we are 28 days away from 2021. It is time to clarify that message and start getting it out in front of a lot of people who actually care about your brand and can actually grow your brand. So here's the next step. I love ending with next steps, and this is what's important. This is the little bit of a sales pitch, because the fact is that we are qualified. This is what Haven does. We do online advertising and digital advertising for other businesses. So that addresses the qualification. You might be stretched too thin. Again, this is what Haven does. This is what I invest my time in every single day, is finding out the details of advertising and the different conversion factors and the traffic metrics, and figuring out the A/B testing and how does all of this connect, right? That's what Haven does. Finally, through all of that process, we actually do work on the testing of messaging as well. We help clarify that so that you're actually approaching your audience with a message that resonates with them, that causes them to actually take action for your business. So if you feel like you are always moving but never getting anywhere, I'd love to help. Fill out the form, send me an email, give me a call, whatever it takes. Let's get in touch because I'd love to help. Hope you have a good day.